The development is very important in the sport of soccer. The younger the development of a soccer player, the better he is likely to be from a technical point of view. Now tonight we do chat to Michael Bender, who is the CEO of IBA Cup, a tournament which is an international one which helps coaches with talent identification as well as nurturing. We do apologize, we are currently having a technical issue with getting Michael on the line. So obviously the discussion is all about just the development of young players in South Africa. We do know that this is something that we've struggled with in the past, and not having a lot of academies that young soccer players can go to in order to develop them so that they can get to a point where they can compete on an international stage. Now we are going to of course be speaking to the CEO of the IBA Cup to tell us more about the tournament itself, as well as the importance of nurturing players as well as talent identification from a young age. Good evening, Michael. Can you hear me? We are still trying to get Michael on the line. We do apologize for this technical issue. As I've mentioned, our discussion just all about the development of soccer players. Good evening, Michael. Can you hear me now?
I certainly can, and my apologies for the issues a little earlier on.
Not a problem. Now, Michael, first up, let's just talk about the IBA Cup. Tell us more about this tournament and what it's all about.
Sure. So the IBA Cup is the world's biggest international youth football tournament. We stage them all over the world, from Brazil to Spain to Portugal, as far as Australia, China. And in 2019, we signed the agreement to host the IBA Cup in South Africa, which we're all extremely excited about. The main function of IBA Cup is to find talent in the participating countries, and we try to feed and filter them in to the 60-odd clubs we have all over the planet.
Certainly. Now tell us about the importance of development at the youngest possible age, and what would you say that age is in your opinion?
So development in actual fact starts at a 10-year-old. However, it's how you develop the talent between the ages of 10 and 12 that is critical to us starting to work on kids from 12, 13, 14, 15 and upwards. So often we see coaches who are getting children to take part in aspects of football they don't have to. One of the world's famous coaches, Pep Guardiola, made it quite clear when he said, any child under 12 years old, give them a ball and allow them to play and play some more. From 13 upwards, we start looking at a technical aspect of football. How do we groom their skill sets? And then as they get older, we start talking about cognitive football. They've got to start using their brains. The biggest thing for us for South African football is there's just not enough development taking place at a critical time, particularly after coming out of COVID.
Now tell us about the art of nurturing talent. Now we've seen many good players having been discouraged in the past by what many may call bad management of players.
Oh, listen, you've hit the proverbial nerve on the head here. There is no doubt that it grows a lot more than that. And it's a conversation that we've been having at very high level where too often coaches want to win at all costs. And I'm not saying every coach is like that. There are incredible coaches, and any coach that takes their time out to try and help a child is critical to that child's development. But we must remember, a football coach is busy building a member of society. We create new opportunities to build new societies through children who we try and give hope and dignity to. The best thing you can ever see is a kid having fun, the big smile on his face, achieving something in a team. Because when we start creating teamwork, we start understanding that this is how we can build a brighter future. I know it's an old and it sounds passé, but when coaches are pushing children, sometimes to even cheat, they destroy what we consider the opportunity to build a better civil society.
Now, just looking at some of the academies, we know that Spain has really good ones. For example, Barcelona's La Mason. But this doesn't, of course, come cheap, and it's not affordable to everyone. So what is a more cost-effective way for those who can't afford academies such as those, but really do have the talent and what it takes to be successful?
I'm so glad you asked that question. It's critical to everything we do. IBA Cup has partnered up with La Liga, and La Liga are affording South African players the opportunity to participate in camps and football clinics that we run right through the country at 1/10 of the price that it will cost a child to fly overseas. So the intention is we will bring the best of the world to South Africa to start getting them to train. The story I love telling is the fact that we start our camp tomorrow, our first 5-day camp in Johannesburg, and out of 120 children, we've managed to raise funding through various brands and sponsors to cover 70 of these kids. We've got kids coming from Dobsonville, from Katlehong, from Cosmo City. This is the only way we're going to start really and truly achieving a value system that kids can start going, wow, it's actually real. To your point, we took 147 players to Portugal in 2019. Cost over 7 million rand. We can't do that anymore. There is no economy left for us to do that. So we're going to bring the best of the world's coaches here. And early next year, with the support of SAFA and Gauteng provincial government, we will host the first international football camp in South Africa with some of the biggest names in the globe, purely for youth to participate in.
Now, Michael, I have two follow-up questions to what you've just said. The first being that you mentioned that there's 120 children and 70 of those have been funded. What is that process of selecting those 120, and how does a little Sam or a little Vusiwe sitting at home actually become part of this and get exposure to those opportunities?
So we got to love social media and the platform that it provides for us to reach out to the farthest corners and saying, hey, we're running this camp. Do you have any football experience? Have you played for a club or even your school? Are you passionate and you love it? Our first port of call is to go to the local football associations and say, you already have formalized leagues and clubs in all the townships and outside of the townships. We'd like you to help us, assist us in finding the start of the talent. Over time, what we want to do at IBA Cup is build a application that will be used on mobile phones where any kid can send us a video of themselves playing, no matter where you live. And from that point, we will start communicating backwards. We're never going to reach all the talent in our country. It's virtually impossible. But we're not here for a month. We're here for the next 5 years. The league is committed, as we are committed, to the next 5 years in developing opportunity to reach the furthest points. We go to Cape Town in November. We're going down to Durban in December. In early March, we're going to be in the far north. And then hopefully we can start saying, how do we create smaller pilot programs in communities for them to say, we found talent. We want to see our talent. We want to nurture our talent. And hopefully build the next Bafana Bafana.
And Michael, just as we wrap up, is the tournament open for both young boys as well as girls?
There is no doubt the biggest growth opportunity in South Africa right now is let's build female football. If you look around the world, we're lagging a little bit behind in terms of the youth development. I don't talk about Banyana, but I'm saying there are amazing clubs and initiatives where you start to see more girls play football. At our camp in Johannesburg, we're happy to say we've sponsored quite a few ladies and young girls that will be joining our camp. And one of my favorite stories is there's a very young girl who was involved in gangsterism. She was a drug addict at 12, 13, 14, and football has given her a new life. We cannot wait to see her on the field because she just becomes another benchmark for the next girl who's going, I want to play football.
Thank you so much, Michael, for talking to us tonight. That, of course, Michael Bender, who is the CEO of the IBA tournament, which is a tournament that's all about helping coaches to nurture as well as identify talent.